This is my government final project. In this presentation, I will give my thoughts about the school board meeting that I watched, and I will share what I learned and how it relates back to my government class. And there's a link to the video that I watched. The members of the Board of Education at my school are Kelly Bowen as the president, Todd Peterson as the vice president, and we also have Katrina Bellinger, Brent Johnson, Corey Linton, Tyler Parsons, and David Williams. And there's a link to the Osage City website with all the members. So I'll start with procedure. One thing that interested me was the procedure that the board used throughout the meeting. The head of the board would lead the talks and often put things to a vote. Then the other members would say aye or nay to convey their vote. I was kind of surprised about this because I've never really thought of my town as really formal. So seeing it use this sort of formal voting was really interesting to me. And I referenced the Kansas Board of Regents bylaws website to compare the procedure carried out at the meeting with the rules laid out in the bylaws. As far as I noticed, they carried out the procedure in the proper way. An example of this is in Rule 2, in which it states that the chair is responsible for convening the meeting and announcing that the quorum is present. Another rule that is noticeably followed is Rule 4, General Principles for Discussion or Debate. The board, in my opinion, did a really good job of discussing each issue thoroughly in order to show each viewpoint and reach an informed decision. They did this for really almost every topic, besides the ones that were just obvious of what decision was to be made. And there's a link there to the Kansas Regents website. How this relates to me. So I'm a student at Osage City High School, and many of these issues directly affect me. This is why I actually enjoyed watching these videos, because it had a lot of impact to me. For example, when one of the teachers asked at the beginning of the meeting for permission to borrow a school van for the FBLA Nationals trip, I started to listen more. I'm one of the students going to the Nationals trip, so I was curious to see what the verdict would be. Another issue that was mentioned in a different board meeting that I watched was the topic of a new principal. This has been a big issue at our school because we only had one person apply for the job, and at the actual meeting, the board voted down that person to be in charge starting July 1st. So I thought that was really interesting. And then next we have responsibilities. There are many responsibilities for the members of the Board of Education. Some more general responsibilities are remaining respectful and kind to the other board members, following proper meeting conduct, and remaining a positive relationship within the community. Other responsibilities are the right to cast votes for various issues, request second readings about issues, and open into further discussion about different topics. The president has more specific tasks, such as serving as the primary spokesperson for the board, maintaining thorough knowledge of the various city issues, and presenting those issues in an orderly fashion to the other members. Some of the topics for discussion. At the board meeting, they discussed many topics. These range from the school budget to whether or not they should allow the FBLA team to take the school van to nationals, as I mentioned earlier. Admittedly, some of these topics were a little boring, such as them talking about roof repairs because our high school is a bit older, but they were all pretty important, and some were actually really informative for me. My favorite thing that I learned in this meeting. The most important thing that I learned was how important local government really is. The Board of Education showed me the sort of impact that these decisions have in the community and how important it is to stay informed. I was never really aware of this before. I had heard the sort of decisions that were made on the school board, but I didn't know really what the meetings entailed and how much they talked about and how many responsibilities they had. So, in conclusion, I've learned a lot about local government, especially the Board of Education. There are many different members with various roles that serve on the board, and they all have a lot of responsibilities, and they have to follow procedures that are defined by the Kansas Board of Regents. And all the decisions they make are really impactful, and they sure make a lot of them. Alright, and that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.